Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Now before we begin, I do have to say a massive thank you, as always, to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these gorgeous high-res pics. Show Ryan some love in the comments below, because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now if you are looking to pre-order Dead Strange, yes, that's the official name, more on that in just a second, is available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as brand new reviews go live on the channel. Now, I personally was super excited to see Zombie Strange. Now, I don't exactly know why they decided to call him Dead Strange rather than Zombie or Undead, but nevertheless, it's all semantics. Now, in terms of accessories, these are the only additional pieces that you will be receiving. No magical effects, no additional head sculpts, just 4 extra hands. Now at the very least, the hands are nicely detailed with torn away flesh with exposed ligaments. They look absolutely disgusting, which is perfect considering this is literally a zombie version of Doctor Strange. Now the display base is the exact same shape as regular Wanda and regular Doctor Strange, which I'm perfectly fine with. Up front, yeah, it does say Dead Strange. Now the boots do look as though they are a split-cut boot design, although they are designed slightly differently. Rather than the cover sitting over the top of the boot, it seems to tuck inside. Now I'm not sure I love the way that looks because the seam is much more visible, but if it does afford you more articulation, seeing as though you're probably going to have this guy in the air all of the time, then yes, I'm perfectly fine with how they've done it. At the very least, you are getting a split-cut boot design versus the other Doctor Strange figures, where the ankles are permanently fixed in position. Seeing as though we're getting this guy, I am now hopeful that we will get Defender Strange, because of course, Dead Strange is Defender Strange, just, dead. Now the outfit is pretty much identical, except here it's in tatters, it's filthy, it's dirty, and you have sections that have been completely torn away. So we will have to wait and see. I don't know if I've told anyone this yet, but Defender Strange is right at the top of my want list, followed very closely by this guy. Now as you can see, like I just said, the outfit is in tatters. It's torn and ripped along the edges, plus there are a couple of holes in the fabric. Now speaking of the fabric, this time there is a ton of screen printing. With previous Doctor Strange figures, it's all been just straight fabric, but here it almost looks as though it's that rubberized texture. Does that mean it could stick to itself if you have it folded and bent for a long period of time? Yeah, absolutely. But only time will tell. Now, I think the reason why they have gone with that more rubberized material is because of the tears and tatters. If they had done that out of fabric, it could have potentially frayed and gotten a lot worse, whereas this enables Hot Toys to pretty much have it fixed in position and not decay or crack or rip, because some of those sections are very, very thin. Like for example on the chest, where you can see that very thin strip of fabric over his exposed ribcage with some decaying flesh and blood and gore. Now, if I told you a couple of years ago this was the type of figure we were going to be getting by Hot Toys based off a Marvel property, you probably wouldn't have believed me. That just makes me all the more excited to get this guy in hand. Now up on the shoulders there is more rubbery style fabric for his tunic. Pretty much everywhere where you see holes and tatters in the outfit, that is going to be that rubbery material. Now for his arms, that's just straight up normal fabric. That means we should be able to get maximum posability, and let's be honest, the arms are kind of integral to posing him, because of course that's how he does his magic. Now I am very curious. I wonder how this demon cape attaches to Doctor Strange. Is it with magnets? Is it with clips? Or is it some kind of combination of both? I am hopeful that it isn't some kind of connection to the display base, although it wouldn't surprise me because it is very big. There are fully sculpted elements like you can see right here with multiple demons coming together to make up the bulk of the cape. They are nicely sculpted, although they do look a little bit smooth and glossy. Now I have to go back and watch the movie a couple more times to see if this is exactly how they looked, but I'm fairly certain they weren't as shiny as they are here. Then again, that is something that Hot Toys can dial in as they get closer to production. I do like the variants here. There are multiple different shapes and sizes of demons. You have some that are reaching out with their arms fully extended, and their fingers look nasty. Just like the hands for Doctor Strange, they're all contorted, they're all deformed, and you can see a little bit of variance in the paint. They're not just all black or all brown, there's some red shading here, there's some green, there's some yellow. There are multiple layers. It looks absolutely disgusting. And I guess that slimy, wet look can kind of tie into that. Now, for the bulk of the cape, it is fabric, but there are some netted sections. It's a really interesting looking cape. You do also have a couple of skulls that are just peering through the black fabric, and I really like that. It makes the cape look even more dynamic, but there is a ton of texture on the surface, not just with the netting, but with the black fabric as well. You also have a ton of wiring, both up the top on both sides, and at various spine sections going through the main wings, I guess we could call them. I don't know how many of those wires there are going to be, but I think we should have a fair amount of posability in the cape. Now, the demons themselves do hook over the top of Doctor Strange's shoulders. Now, that could very simply be how they attach to the body. They just simply rest on there. But only time will tell, of course, like I said earlier, when this guy eventually releases. You can also see that some of those demons do stick out quite far from the body. I don't know how much depth is going to be required in the collection to fit this guy with the massive wingspan, but that does bring up an interesting question. How many of you out there actually have the space and are willing to devote it to Dead Strange to have him displayed with his full wingspan in the collection? Now, I personally will absolutely be having him displayed front and center with the cape spread out, whether I can fit it or not. But I do turn the question over to you. Is the big selling point just the fact that we are getting a dead zombie Strange? Or is it going to be cape or bust? I know that, in my opinion, it's definitely the latter. One of the most gruesome details that I've only just noticed is you can see through the bones on the arms for the demons. Once again, absolutely disgusting, but it does tie in very nicely to the overall look. And don't worry, we are getting to the head sculpt for Doctor Strange in just a second. Speaking of which, I do like that the hands that wrap around his head kind of form the collar of his cloak of levitation, so the overall shape of the cloak is still present, although obviously it does look completely different. Now that we've zoomed out a bit, you can see how see-through those netting sections are, plus there are still a bunch of holes in the black fabric. And you can also make out the wires in the spines. One up the top, one down below, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few more on either side. The material does look to be a little bit waxy and screen printed, so all of that texture on the surface is probably that rubbery style material. That isn't really going to affect anything, it's still going to be perfectly flexible and posable with those wires, but it is something that I have noticed. I've also noticed that both sides of the cape are different. It's an asymmetrical design. But this is the moment that I personally have been waiting for, the head sculpt. Now, I like it, but I don't love it. Now, you might be sitting there screaming at your monitor saying, Justin, what are you talking about? It looks fantastic. And yes, it does. Except for the hair. Now, I went and watched Doctor Strange 2 again recently, and the hair is tied back, just like it was for Defender Strange, even when he is dreamwalking in this dead body. Whereas here, he has these two kind of strands of hair that come along the side of his face. Now, to me, they kind of look like dead, lifeless black strips of bacon that are just dangling down by the side of his head. I don't really love that. I'm hoping Hot Toys corrects it, but everything else is on point. There is a ton of texture to the dead, rotting flesh. You can even see his goatee. Plus, you do have an entire side of his face that has been torn and ripped away. You can see the mouth, you can see the gums, you can also see those very bright red gashes going along his forehead. So at the end of the day, even if they don't update the hair, there is enough here that I like to still warrant picking up this figure. But I am hoping, just for the sake of accuracy, that they tweak those minor things. This guy, though, is 100% going to be an attention grabber in your display. If you were hoping for a big, massive centerpiece style figure for your Multiverse of Madness collection, yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy is going to be it. People will walk in the room, turn around to your Doctor Strange display, see this, and probably lose their mind. A dead, decaying, demon-covered version of Doctor Strange? Yeah, he is definitely going to capture the eye, which is pretty much what I was looking for when we saw this guy on screen. Now, there are still a few more variants of Doctor Strange I would love to receive from the film, as well as a couple of other characters. But we will have to wait and see if this is the only thing Hot Toys had left in the tank. Now, if you are looking to pre-order this guy, he is available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon, plus the join button for more info on Justin's Collection Plus, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Once again, a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.